today about graduation. Some of you might be sitting here thinking, gosh, it seems so early to speak about graduation. That seems so far away. But if you think back to when you started here as a freshman, you know how quickly time goes by, and now here you are, seniors, and graduation will be here before we know it. So we want to make sure that we plan and prepare so you are ready for your big day. So again, I am Jamie Crandall. I work with my husband, Todd. You probably may have seen Todd here at school on occasion, but I am Jamie. So again, this is just about your time to shine. Here you are, you're at the top of the heap, you're seniors, thinking about all that got you here, and we want to make sure that we again plan and prepare you for your big day to celebrate your graduation. So we have your order days as Wednesday, September 22nd, last name A to M, and Friday, September 24th, last name N to Z. And let me just say, we break it up that way so it kind of, you're not all coming at once and there's long lines and you're having to wait long. We realize you have other things to do, so we try to get you in and out quickly. If for some reason you're scheduled on the first day and oops, you forget it and you need to come on Friday, that is okay. But we just kind of use that as a guideline, so again, try to get you in and out as quickly as we can. At the end, Mrs. Mitchell mentioned at the very end of the presentation, you will get an envelope that looks like this. That will contain some catalogs, order forms, information, things that you need for graduation. So very important before you leave here today to take one of those envelopes. We'll make sure that you have one. In the package, this is one of the items that you'll see in the package, and the reason we highlight this is because in the years that we've been doing it, which is 31, I believe, there are very common items that are ordered that students and or parents want, and so we've kind of grouped them together for convenience. So if you look through that with your mom or dad and those work for you, then that's, you know, kind of a quick and easy form. So two things to graduation. There's the formal part and there's the fun part. First, of course, is the formal, the cap and gown that we're going to speak about. Gown measurements. So when we say we want your gown measurements, we're not actually going to physically measure you. You're going to provide us with your height and your weight, and that allows us to figure out what size gown to order for you. Caps are expandable, so those are kind of a one-size-fit-all. If for some reason you had an issue, we do have a little bit larger cap if needed, but generally those kind of fit most students. So height, when we talk about height, and I get this question sometimes from girls, should I add in my heels if I'm going to wear heels or wedges? No, we want your actual height. So just your height, because when you put on a gown and it's kind of a loose-fitting garment, it should hit about mid-calf is where you want it to hit for guys and girls. So don't factor in heels, even though this says that. You're just going to do your natural height, okay? Tassels, these are just some examples of some of the other tassels that we have that you can order. It's, shadows stacked, the bling with the, the little cubic zirconias in them, or the mascot tassel. Here are some photos of seniors that we got from last year. So again, very important, why we're speaking to you early is so we can plan and be prepared and have you look as good as they did last year. Now, part of the other part I want to speak about is it kind of lends itself to the formal part. Announcements. Announcements are the paper product that provides the information on like when your graduation is and who's graduating, and oftentimes parents will send those out to aunts, uncles, grandparents. It's just a way of formally announcing that you're graduating from high school. It's not really an invitation to come. I hear that sometimes, and I know some schools have, may have, you know, certain numbers you can bring. It's just announcing that you're graduating, a very formal way of telling family and friends that you're graduating. This is what your formal announcement looks like. And thank you to, if any of these people are in here. Yes, I'm sorry, and who are you? I'm Michael. Michael, thank you. So these 4 individuals helped put this great looking announcement together. So we, you know, yes, please say thank you to these individuals for their help on that. It looks fantastic. We also offer what we call, so that was the formal announcement. This is a card, we call them next step cards. So a couple things you can do with these. You know, you can announce if you're going on to college, if you're going into the military, Peace Corps, or if you're having a party. You know, parents may want to use these or tuck them in the announcement. It's a great way to let people know what you're doing, where you're going from here. QR codes are something, I believe they're new this year. They are amazing, the technology, but you can put these QR codes in your announcements. I actually saw them demoed in a thank you note. So, you know, you may get items from grandparents or family friends at graduation, and maybe you're going to drop them a thank you note afterwards, a handwritten thank you note. You could put one of these QR codes in it. You can personalize it with your own message, and then of course when the recipient receives it, they can open it up and then they can see this personal message you've put in it, which is very cool. Now the fun part, which is more of the senior gear. So some of you, if you're interested in the t-shirts, the sweatshirts, we've got, you know, beanies, bags, memory books, and frames. Those are all things that you can order. These items here, these are items that we bring to school on your order days. So we stock them and we'll bring them here because we realize that some of you, when you ordered some of these things, you'd like them right away. So we bring these items, and if you should order any of these things, you'll get them right on order day. Class jewelry. So class rings typically ordered as a sophomore. If you have not ordered a class ring, you're interested, you're thinking about it, definitely not too late. I always get that question, is it too late because I'm a senior? No, not too late. And the great thing is when you're a senior, if you decide to order a class ring, we actually bump you up to the front of production because we know it's your last year. We want to kick the ring out quickly so you have a longer time to wear it while you're in high school. So this is just a slide that Todd popped in. We had seen this little piece for one of our schools. She is Beth Moses, a NASA and a Virgin Galactic astronaut. And she spoke, she received an alumni award for her school, a distinguished alumni. And so when she spoke to the school, she mentioned that one of the things that she took up into space with her was her class ring, because some of the people she had had in high school, some of the teachers really had inspired her love of doing what she does. So she wanted to bring that with her as a way to kind of, you know, pay homage to those that had helped her get there. So you can design your class ring. Here's one of our QR codes. So if you have your phone out, if you wanted to get to the ring designer, which I always direct students that way, you can go on our website, and when you go to ring designer, if you're looking at a couple different styles, it allows you to kind of put your personal elements in. That way you can kind of see at the end what it would look like exactly. So if you wanted to do that, you could click on that and go to Ring Designer. But you do have 3 options for ordering. So in your forms, I believe we put a paper form. You can order online, or you can start the order process online. You can print it out and bring it to school, and we'll help you at school. Some of you may not know your finger size, so that's something we will certainly take care of for you at the order table on order day. So again, order days on Wednesday, September 22nd, A through M, and the 24th for N through Z. Oh, and I'm sorry, did you see in the field house hall during lunches? We do an Instagram, we have an Instagram account, so if you would like to follow us, we will follow you back. And throughout the year, we give away things, items. We will probably be giving a couple items away next week during your order days. So if you follow us, we will select winners, and then when you stop by the table, if you happen to be, because we'll send you a note back that maybe you've won a giveaway prize, stop at the table, say, hey, I got a note from you that I'm the winner, so, and we'll get you your giveaway. This is a QR code for so really when you get your packet today, our hope is that you're going to take it home and you're going to sit down with mom and dad. And I know, life is busy. I have 4 children, and so I know sometimes with sports and activities and mom and dad and work and stuff, things get busy. So if you think that you might not remember to necessarily give mom or dad the packet, you could click on this and you could fire mom or dad that right away, and that would kind of alert them that you're getting this information today, and then maybe it would remind them to ask you. And that's actually my last slide. So do you guys have any questions for me? Is there anything that wasn't clear or something I can, explain better, or everybody good? Well, then I'm going to turn it over to your counselors. And then, like I said, don't leave here today without your packet. I'll be helping to hand those out as you leave. So make sure you have that in hand. And then I look forward to meeting you next week. Thank you.
What? I know, I can't find it. I can't see it. Oh. I'm like looking around.
Okay, good morning, you guys. I know you heard from Mrs. Crandall. Now, Mr. Kay and I are going to talk to you a little bit about the college application process, why it's important. So if you guys please make sure that you're listening up. This is really important information. So please put your phones away. We really appreciate it. So just our counseling staff, once again, as seniors, most of you probably, at least hopefully, know who your counselor is. Obviously, if you transferred in, please be acquainted with your counselor. They are your go-to person in the building for all things college, career, academic, and kind of your point person for social emotional. So Mr. K starts off the top half of our alphabet, and he is here presenting with me this morning. Then Mrs. Mitchell, she's our guidance department chair, and she's in the back. Then we have Mr. Goldman, Ms. Casillas, Ms. Prisnowski, and then we have a counseling intern, Ms. Larson, and then Ms. Marquardt and Ms. Sunday are our counseling support assistants. So anytime you come into 2900, you will check in with Ms. Sunday, who is our counseling assistant, and then Ms. Marquardt, who is going to help with all things college and career. So let's take a deep breath and review. These last 18 months have been really crazy. We are still going through a pandemic, and life has changed a lot. We understand that your future goals may be impacted by different economic factors, job loss, different things like that, and different health concerns within your families. So we are here to help. Many schools remain test optional, so I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but obviously in applying to colleges, usually you need an ACT or SAT score as part of your application package. Since the pandemic has started, many schools have become test optional. So you will not be penalized for sending your scores in. So last year when you guys took your SAT, if you put schools down and didn't end up doing as great as you wanted on the SAT, you're not going to be penalized for those scores. So when you are applying to colleges on your application form, it's going to ask you if you want to submit your scores or if you want to apply test optional. Okay, and test optional means you will not be submitting your test score, so that will not be part of your application package. Sometimes for some schools, in place of that SAT or ACT score, they might ask you to write an additional essay, or they might have a live interview via Zoom or something like Google Meet, like that. Okay? So if you have any questions about that test optional policy, please come and see your counselor. So we want you guys to choose your own path. I know there's a lot of pressure and a lot of talk when it comes to college and what colleges are good and what colleges your friends are going to, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. We want you guys to choose the path that is right for you, okay? So for some of you, that might be a 2-year college or university like CLC or Harper, Oakton. For others, it might be a 4-year university like U of I, ISU, University of Texas. For others, it might be apprenticeship programs where you're going into construction or plumbing or HVAC programs. There's a lot of, through the Lake County JATC, these are trained electricians. So not everybody's path is going to be the same, and that is okay. That is why we have so many different occupations and jobs throughout the country, is because each and every job is individualized and equally important. There's also the military to come and serve our country. We have military individuals come in through our College and Career Center every year. So if you want to go into the military, any branch, usually we have those individuals. If they aren't coming in, we will definitely hook you up with that specific recruiter. And then some of you may be heading out straight into the workforce. So if you need help filling out job applications or looking for job openings, we can help support you there as well. So again, not everybody is going to choose the same path, and that is okay. So why post-secondary education? So if you guys look at this, this is earnings and employments by 2020. So essentially it shows you by year of high school, a high school diploma versus college versus a master's degree and a doctoral degree. So as you can see, each year or each degree in education helps to boost your employment rate and your overall earnings in that job. So that's why we talk about a high school diploma being so important. I know some people are like, oh, why high school? I can just go get a job and things like that. And for some of you, yes, that might be your path. But for others, if you're looking to kind of boost your salary and your employment and kind of get out into the job force, education is really, really important. So jobs and colleges that are trending. So if you look, it says common colleges that our class of 21 attended. So we have College of Lake County was number 1. And then we have University of Illinois, Carthage, and you guys can read down the list. Now these are a lot of the colleges that our 2021 graduates attended, but these are not the only colleges. So again, we want you guys to choose the college that is the best fit for you. Highest earning trade school jobs, so we have some of the top ones here, so like an elevator installer repair, radiation therapist, dental hygienist, diagnostic medical sonographer, electrician, and so on. So these are just some of the things that are trending, and obviously year to year they can change. So we want you guys to talk with your parents about your goals, talk with your counselors about your goals, and then let us help and support your needs. So there's some myths. Obviously, anytime we're talking about colleges, people talk, friends talk, parents talk, the media talks about this is what college is or this is what it isn't, this is what you need to do and this is what you do not need to do. So I have to pick a major before I can apply. That is absolutely not true. So some schools will ask you to put some specific majors down that you're interested in, but a lot of schools, unless you're going into a direct entry program, will have you pick your major by the end of sophomore year. A lot of times your first 2 years, you're doing some of those general education requirements, so then your major does not have to be chosen by the time you apply. Like I said, some of those direct entry like nursing programs or some engineering programs, you do need to choose your major before you start. But for the most part, you do not have to have your major chosen before you fill out your applications. There's only one college that will make me happy. You know, that again is not true. There's so many different colleges out there and so many different fits for every different student out there. So what might be a good fit for your best friend may not be a good fit for you. So we really encourage you guys to get out there, to do those online or virtual visits. If you can, get out and do those in-person visits, and then to sign up for our college visits through our College and Career Center on Naviance. We have so many different schools that come in, and having those personalized relationships with those admissions reps is really important. That way they're able to put a face with a name. In-state colleges are always the cheapest. That is not true as well. There are so many different schools out there that offer different packages as far as grants or scholarships. Sometimes your smaller liberal arts schools or your private schools, because they have larger endowments, can offer more grants and scholarships than some of your state schools. State schools are funded by the state, so sometimes they do have a cap on what they can offer you financially. So really do your homework in talking with your financial aid representatives at the school to see what you guys can be afforded as far as help in your college process. So colleges only accept the best students and I'll never make it. Again, not true. There's a different college out there with different requirements for each student. For if you struggle a little bit, there's pathway programs and bridge programs that can help support students enter into college, even if you struggled a little bit. All my peers have a plan and I'm the only one feeling lost. You know, we all move at different speeds and different rates as far as how we move forward with our goals and our future. If you're feeling stuck or you're feeling lost, please come in and talk with your counselor. Sit down and talk with your parents, or again, sign up for one of our college visits so you can at least kind of dip your toes in the water and see what the college application process is like. And then if you have questions, you can come back and see us or talk to Ms. Marquardt, and we'll help you guys all along the way. So just some like real talk about colleges. So this has been in the news a lot lately, that high-paying trade jobs sit empty while high school grads line up for university. As you guys I'm sure have heard, a lot of our baby boomers are retiring, and there are a lot of trade jobs that are sitting wide open, and they are high-paying jobs. But I know sometimes we have the myth that, well, if you don't go to college, you're not going to get a job. If you don't go to a four-year university, you're not going to end up doing well. So there are a lot of different opportunities out there, and we want you guys to explore the ones that are the best fit for you. The coronavirus may change college admissions forever. That may be the case, as we've started to see a lot of the colleges have gone test optional. I don't know, once the pandemic ends, if things will revert back the other way, but colleges are really, really attuned to what's going on right now with students and families, and they want to help support you both academically and financially. And then college admissions officers are reading your tweets. So this is a big thing. When college admissions reps are looking at students, they're looking at you holistically, so your entire application. But if they have questions, they are turning a lot to social media. They want to see what kind of kids they're accepting to their colleges. So they may be on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, all those kinds of things, and looking at the kinds of things that you post. So just a reminder, if you don't want something seen that you think is maybe a little borderline or something we always say you wouldn't show to your grandma, then I wouldn't put it out there on social media. Okay, time management. I don't know if everybody's aware, but once you hit college, things are a lot different. Here you guys are stuck into a 7.5-hour day, taking 7 classes, and it's very different at the college level. So I know a lot of you guys are juggling working through activities, athletics, going to school, working, maybe babysitting, whatever the case may be, you guys are stretched super thin right now. Once you hit college, things change a little bit. You may not be going to school, you will not be going to school Monday through Friday likely. You might have a class Monday, Tuesday, Friday. You might have a night class one day, a morning class. It's kind of however you decide to set up your schedule and when your classes are offered. Therefore, you have a lot of empty time throughout the day. So you really have to work on your time management. And we're hoping through kind of the RAM block this year and the off-campus and your lunches that you are working on kind of narrowing in on a time management or schedule that works for you. Building those skills now is going to only help you be more successful in college, because you might have a Tuesday where you have no class and your friends are like, hey, let's go to the mall, let's go wherever, let's go to the city, and you're like, yeah, I have a paper I could write. Well, it's not due till Friday, and then Friday rolls around and you haven't done your paper. So it's really important to establish those time management skills now. So factors in finding the right fit. Location is really key. So you guys, when you're starting to think about the schools that you want to attend, you have to determine, do I want to be far away from home? Do I want to be close to home? When it comes around to Thanksgiving break, can I make a quick car or train ride home, or do I have to get a plane ride, or is this not a holiday I can go home because I can't afford a plane ticket back? So it's really important to kind of determine that location and what you're comfortable with and what your family can financially support you with as well. Facilities is another really important thing to look at. Dorms, food options, classrooms, parking. When you go onto the schools, you want to be really attuned to kind of what's going on, the people milling around outside. Are they friendly? Are they saying hi to new people walking around? Dorms, do you have to stay in dorms all 4 years? There are some colleges that you do stay on campus all 4 years. Other campuses, you're on for freshman year, and then you can go in off-campus housing or go find an apartment sophomore through senior year. Food options, is it more of a cafeteria, or do they have on-campus restaurants and things that you can go to, and what type of food options do they offer? So each school typically has different meal packages, so you want to kind of look through that and see if it fits for you as well. And then classrooms and parking. Like if you plan on going to a school where you can come home on the weekends or on holidays, can you bring a car? Do you have to pay for parking? All those kinds of things are different expenses that you have to keep into consideration. Class size as well, or size of the school. There's some really large schools out there, like some of your state universities are really large. You have some of your more private schools that are similar in size to Grays Lake Central. And then you have your mid-sized schools that range around the 8,000-10,000. So you guys have to decide what's going to be best for you and how do you learn best. You go to some of the state schools, you may be in a lecture hall freshman year with 400 students, okay, being taught by a TA. And if that's okay with you, great, because all the professors and TAs have office hours. If you're somebody that needs more individualized attention, you might want to go to a school that has smaller class sizes, around 30 students, 25 students, where you're being taught by the professor. So it really just depends how you learn best. So you guys need to kind of think about that and what's going to work best for you. And then majors. Make sure when you're looking at schools, if you have some things in mind that you're interested in, that the school offers it. You know, too many times kids choose a school because they like it or a friend likes it, and they go there and they're not even offering their major. Or they're in their major and they're like, oh, I want to switch, and the school doesn't have their major, so then they have to look to transfer. And transferring is okay, but it does take time. They have to go through all your requirements to make sure you have enough credits to transfer. So really looking selectively at the schools to ensure that they have your major or the minors that you want, so that you don't have to end up moving schools because you didn't do your homework ahead of time. Activities as well. If you guys are into sports or different activities, make sure that you're talking with the admissions rep. If you go on a college visit, a lot of times a student is leading those tours. Ask those students what kind of clubs and different sports and activities are available. And you know, if there's something specific you're looking for, a lot of times they're on their websites. They have all the clubs and different activities. If you're interested in studying abroad, see what kind of programs they offer there as well. Some schools offer different types of programs, like short-term study abroad programs. Some are for the semester. Some could be like a J-term. So kind of figure out what interests you. Greek life, do you want to be part of a fraternity or sorority? You have to talk to your parents and stuff about that, because there's usually a financial add-on for that. So making sure you're asking all these important questions. Diversity. How diverse is this school? Male, female, socioeconomic status, religious? Is there a religious theme to the school? And if so, are there any requirements that go along with that? So making sure you're asking all those important questions when they come here for school visits or whether you go on campus for those on-campus tours. And then lastly, cost. We want to caution you guys to looking just at the sticker price of the school, okay? Because that is not necessarily what you or your family will pay. Obviously, cost is important. So what you need to encourage your families to do is make sure that they fill out the FAFSA. That comes out October 1st, and that will determine your expected family contribution using your parents' prior tax returns. Okay, so this is a big thing that it's also a graduation requirement that needs to be completed, and that's what helps to compile your financial aid package. Okay, so oftentimes you may get scholarships, you might get grants, or you might be offered work study, whereas you get an on-campus job working in the library, you might be working in food services, you might be working in the weight room or the athletic facility, and you get paid for doing your job that can go towards your tuition or towards your books. Okay, so making sure you're looking at the price and the cost of the school, but making sure you're not just eliminating a school because of that price. So how to apply? First, you need to complete an online application, and there's a couple of different applications that you can go to. So sometimes the colleges will have a college site where you can apply directly on their website. There is the Common App, which is become more and more common. All of the Illinois state schools are now on the Common App this year. That is one application that you can fill out, and it goes to multiple different schools. So I would say if you have 2 to 3 schools that are all on the Common App, I would err towards filling out the Common App as opposed to filling out 4 or 5 different school applications. It's just going to save you time. And then there's the Coalition App as well, which is offered by some schools, but not all schools. So what we need you guys to do is complete a transcript release form for each school that you're applying to. So let's say you're applying to 5 schools. That means you need to fill out 5 different transcript release forms for each school that you're applying to. Now, some schools, like ISU, are self-report schools, and that means you are taking your unofficial transcript, so you need to get that from your counselor, and you're going down your transcript and you're filling in the grades that you have on your transcript. If you are accepted and decide to go to that school, then they will ask for your final transcript. But otherwise, you will self-report your grades on that application. Otherwise, for each school, you need to fill out that transcript release form for each school you're applying to. One thing we really want to make clear to you guys is that we do need 10 days or 2 school weeks of processing for your applications. Just because so many of you are applying and there's letters of recommendation and extra forms that need to be filled out, in order to make sure that we get everything done and in on time, if you do have a school deadline of November 1st, we need that 2 school weeks prior to, so that it's ensured that it's going to get in by that November 1st deadline. Okay, so that may be around like October 20th or so. We also have a link on our college and career page that links students to Naviance and to the transcript release form. Okay, so it's located in 2 places. The transcript release form's on Naviance, and it's also located on our college and career website. Log into Naviance. Naviance is our go-to portal for all things college and career. There's a link to the Common App account in there. You have to waive your FERPA rights. So those are your privacy rights for the school. So on the Common App, you will go in, and we ask that you waive your FERPA rights, and that means that you're just giving the school permission to release your records to the colleges. So once you fill out that FERPA waiver, then you need to go into Naviance and link your accounts, okay? We're going to be meeting with all of you guys individually in the next couple weeks, so if you have questions about how to do that, we will discuss that in your college meeting. Letters of recommendation. A lot of schools may require a letter of recommendation, while other schools don't. This is an opportunity for teachers or your counselors or your coaches to speak highly of you on your behalf about how you do academically or within your activities. There is a letter of recommendation survey on Naviance that we do need you guys to fill out. The reason we ask you to fill this out is so that we know what kind of clubs and activities and things that you guys are involved in, what kind of majors you're interested in, so that we can tailor your letter towards your needs. We want to make sure that they're individualized and let your strengths shine to the college. So you need to also submit a letter of recommendation request through Naviance. So first of all, we want you guys to go in person to your teachers and ask them, would you write me a letter of recommendation? If they agree, then you would go on to Naviance and send them a formalized request. Then there's a box there that you can type if you would like. You can just say, thank you for writing me a letter of recommendation. Please have it completed by October 1st. Thanks so much, and then you hit submit, and it generates an email reminder and request directly to your counselor, or to the teacher. One thing I do want to caution you guys about is asking for letters of recommendation if you don't need them. Some schools do not want them, so please, they do take a lot of time to write, and your teachers and counselors are very thoughtful about tailoring your letters to you. So if you don't need a letter, please don't ask. And then make sure that you're asking for 1 to 2, because most schools don't take any more than 2. You don't need 4 or 5 to kind of, file through, because a lot of times the teachers will mail or put them right through Naviance, so you don't get to read them anyway. Some teachers allow you to read them, which is great, but a lot of times they'll just upload them to Naviance and they'll go that way, so you don't get to pick and choose through 4 or 5 different letters. And then request your test scores from SAT or ACT if you took them too. So essentially, if you guys did not put any colleges, when you're putting your application together, they do ask for your test scores if you're applying with your SAT scores. So you do have to send those scores if last year during taking the SAT, you did not put those specific colleges on there. So if you did not, you have to go onto your College Board account and you have to hit submit SAT scores, and then you choose the schools that you want to go to. They do cost $11 or so to send them. So if you didn't send them, you just have to go back through and make sure that those are sent. And again, that's only if you are applying with your SAT or ACT scores. If you are doing test optional, then you do not need to send those scores. So this is a copy of our transcript release form. Again, it's available both on our college and career website as well as Naviance. So I'm just going to show you guys real quick. So here on the Grays Lake Central website, if you go down to Student Services and College and Career Center. This is our college and career website, and it is filled with a plethora of information of all things college, how to apply, college visits, all those kinds of different things. Right here is a link to the transcript release form. Over here are scholarships. There's different steps on how to apply. Talks about FAFSA waiver. Again, it is a graduation requirement, so either your family has to fill it out or they have to fill out a FAFSA non-participation waiver, basically stating that your family will not be filling out the FAFSA. So one of those 2 things need to be filled out in order for you guys to graduate. Talks about upcoming events, so just a lot of information for you guys. So when you have some time, I would suggest you hop onto that website and start taking a look around. Oops. Okay, so a couple of frequently asked questions. We talked about the self-report. Again, that's getting your unofficial transcript from your counselor and self-reporting your grades onto the application. College Board information, that is something that if you guys forget your password or something like that, you have to go through and hit the forgot password information. We do not have that information here on file at the school, so you will have to go in and press either the help or contact someone through College Board to get that information. And then again, we talked about the Common App. Again, if there's multiple schools that you're applying to, it behooves you to use the Common App. It will save some time and allow you to put multiple colleges on your application list.
All right, bear with me here. Okay, I know it's early on a Monday morning. We have a couple more slides that we need to go over. Please make sure you're paying attention to a lot of these things, especially at the end of our slideshow, because we have a ton of events coming up this fall that we would love for all of you to take advantage of. So please make sure your eyes are up here. I can see when your head is buried in your phone, means you're not paying attention. Thank you. All right, so a couple more frequently asked questions that we get from seniors every year. First one is, should I ask for a letter of recommendation if my school does not need one? The answer is absolutely not. Okay, please respect your teacher's time. Do not ask for letters of recommendation if you do not need them. Okay, there are schools out there that don't want them. That's totally fine. Okay, but don't ask your teachers to write you a letter, okay, and have it be several paragraphs long if you don't even need to submit one. Okay, my senior year grades don't matter, so I'm just going to forget about those. Okay, not true. Some schools will request a 7-semester transcript, okay, to verify your academic consistency throughout your senior year. So the highly selective schools are going to need a mid-year report and a 7th semester transcript, okay? So please make sure you reach out to your counselor if you need that 7th semester transcript submitted to your school, okay? More often than not, the school will inform you that they need that, though. Okay, when should I start filling out my applications and working on my essays? The answer is very easy, and that's as soon as possible, okay? All right, so these are the 5 application deadlines that you need to pay very close attention to, and the definitions, okay, of all 5 of these. First, most common is the regular decision. That's the normal time, okay, to submit an application. If you look at the University of Pennsylvania's admit rate, they typically admit 7% of their applicants from the regular decision deadline. All right, so to give you kind of a frame of reference, I'm just using ballpark dates here. Typically that's somewhere between, November 15th to kind of February 1st. All right, that's kind of a regular decision timeline. All right, early decision. This is the big one. Okay, these are typically for your highly selective schools. This means you are applying early, typically somewhere between October 15th to December 1st. All right, and this is a binding agreement, a contract. This is, you're only applying early decision for one school in your list. All right, so if you look at the admit rate for University of Pennsylvania, they will admit 19% of their applicants, okay, that apply early decision, right? So if you know that you want to go to Northwestern, you've wanted to be a Wildcat for your entire life, all right, and they have an early decision deadline, you apply early decision, they accept you, okay, that means you're going to that school, all right? It's a binding contract. Pay attention to that language of that application deadline, all right? Then there's early action / priority filing deadline. Okay, this means early application. This is a non-binding agreement. Okay, so please make sure that as you look at your application deadlines, you're understanding the difference between early decision and early action, because there is a big difference. Rolling admission is once an application is complete and the review committee has had a chance to look at it, the decision is made right away or as quickly as possible. Okay, and then there's open admission. Anyone is eligible for general admission, okay, such as an example of that would be CLC. All right, so admissions in the decision process. On the left-hand side, you'll see, a general overview of the criteria needed to apply to schools. So obviously your GPA and rigor of coursework, okay. Obviously last year and this year, a lot of schools are remaining test optional, so you can still submit an SAT or ACT score, but you can also decide if you do not want to submit that. Okay, I put fair test next to that little line there. There's an awesome website, okay, that I would strongly recommend all of you look at to see if the school you're interested in applying to is test optional. Okay, an essay and a personal statement, letters of recommendation, okay, extracurricular activities, community service, leadership experience, and then demonstrated interest. Mrs. Rossi referred to a lot of these things when you're completing an application, so I'm not going to continue to hammer the point home here, but the point is that there's a lot of things that are needed to complete an application, okay? Then there's outcomes on the right-hand side. You're going to see, obviously, admitted means, yay, you're accepted to that school, all right? Denied is kind of what it sounds like. Unfortunately, you were not accepted or admitted to that school, and the application won't be reviewed again. okay? Deferred means that the school may ask for you to submit additional documentation for further review. So it does not mean that you were formally denied, okay? And then there's waitlisted. So they're not going to ask for further documentation, but essentially you're in line if other admitted students don't accept, okay, their offer to attend that school. Okay, so those are the 4 outcomes. All right, so financial aid. Obviously, everyone has, we want to know how are we going to pay for school, right? So the first and foremost is, in regards to financial aid, we want to be speaking to the financial aid office and or the officials in that office at the colleges or universities that you're applying to, okay? Have open discussions with them, all right? They have a really good understanding of what institutional aid that they can offer, all right, you, and give you all the criteria to kind of try to potentially earn as much aid as possible, all right? In addition to speaking with your financial aid officials at the colleges and universities, you want to make sure that we're filling out the FAFSA or other financial aid related forms. So the FAFSA stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. As Ms. Rossi pointed out, that application opens up on October 1st, which is in a couple weeks. You want to make sure that you highlight and circle that date on your calendar if you're applying to schools, all right? And making sure that you're submitting it as soon as possible after it opens so that you're making yourself eligible for as much aid as possible, okay? If, for whatever reason, your family does not want you filling out the FAFSA, all right, you do have to submit the FAFSA, the non-participation waiver that we have on our school website, okay? So regardless, one way or another, you have to fill out the FAFSA or the non-participation waiver, because either or one of those are a graduation requirement. So please make sure that you are circling that date on your calendar, okay? And then if the school requests additional financial aid information, you may have to fill out the CSS financial aid profile this fall as well. All right, obviously, additionally to that, okay, in filling out the FAFSA or talking with your universities, we also have scholarships, right? So scholarship awards is free money that we don't have to pay back, okay? So, typically scholarships, applications for scholarships will open up, be available mid-September, okay, all the way through April, all right? And all of those, specifically local scholarships, are going to be listed on Naviance and updated daily by our college and career members, all right? So that includes local and national opportunities, all right? And then on the right-hand side, you'll see other online search engines for scholarships, okay? And those are more so national scholarship search engines. So some scholarship myths. I kind of just showed you some of the things you need to be doing, but we hear a lot that only straight A students will get scholarships. Doesn't only one student end up winning all the scholarships, so why would I even bother filling out the application? The amounts are not even worth my time. They're only like a couple $100, okay? If I owe $50,000, all right, for tuition, what's $500 really going to do for me? You have to be an athlete to only win scholarships, and why bother? I'll never win, right? Not true. Many local scholarships are available to students with no regard to GPA, okay? Others only require a minimum of a 2.0 GPA or above, all right? Out of the 100+ scholarships that will eventually be added to Naviance, only a handful will be exclusively for athletes, okay? Many local scholarships only receive 2 or 3 applicants. So if you think about those odds, if you're one of those 2 applicants, okay, your chances are a lot greater than applying to a national scholarship where you have thousands of high school students applying for those same scholarships on the 2 slides prior to this one. Okay, so a lot of our local scholarships, you really want to make sure that you're looking at those in advance and not missing those deadlines so you can try to earn as much money as possible. Okay, scholarship funds can be used for gas, books, food, so every little bit helps, right? Even if it's $500. And then you have to play to win, right? Meaning you have to apply to even find out if you're going to be awarded that money. Okay, so some events for the fall coming up. Please make sure that you review back to this slideshow when we send this out to you guys after this morning, all right? These are probably the 3, all of them are important, but these 3 specifically on this first slide are extremely important for you to utilize. Okay, your college and career center team, including the counselors, some English teachers, are very available, all right, to assist you with a lot of things pertaining to your applications. But the first most important thing you can do is connect with the college representative in our college and career center. Okay, so all throughout the fall, colleges and universities are going to have their representatives come in and give you all the information you would want to know about their school. Okay, you really want to create a relationship with that person, because chances are that person is sitting on the committee that decides whether or not you get accepted or denied or waitlisted or deferred to that school. Okay, so create a relationship. Take a look at Naviance and our rep visit schedule. All right, once this presentation is over and you get sent all these links. Okay, we will be having, we'll send out a Schoology message here this week with more information about our college application and essay workshops. Okay, so these are 25-minute appointments starting this week that you can take advantage of. If you have questions, if you want an English teacher to proofread your essay, this is your opportunity to have this done. Okay, if you want a counselor to look at your application and making sure you're not forgetting something, or you're filling out some portion of the application the right way, this would be an additional opportunity, okay, to have one of our experts in the school take a look at those things. So please make sure you're looking at the Schoology post that we send out this week and coming to get help if needed. Okay? In addition to our college application essay writing workshop, all throughout the fall, we are going to have our Wednesday night counseling appointments. So for whatever reason your parents would like to be involved in a conversation with Mr. Goldman on Wednesday nights, he is going to be available for 30-minute appointments to where your family can also be involved in these, to talk about college applications, essays, financial aid, all that good stuff. Please email Mr. Goldman to schedule an appointment for a Wednesday night counseling session. All right, in addition to some of those school-based, like during the day or in the morning or after school, we are going to be having a senior student and parent life after high school. That's a tongue twister, long title, but we're going to be having the same presentation for parents on Wednesday the 22nd at 7 o'clock in the theater. Okay? Please make sure you're passing along this information to your parents so they can come and also hear the same message. Okay? We're going to be having a bilingual virtual event about higher education opportunities on September 25th. And then we have our ISAC, Illinois Student Assistance Commission, financial aid, live stream presentation on Wednesday, September 29th as well. Okay? ISAC, Mrs. Rossi talked about them earlier as well. Okay, those are the experts in regards to financial aid. If you have questions about loans, okay, or paying for school, or working, okay, at school, those would be the people that we would refer you to and are great resources that come into our school if you have questions about financial aid. All right, then there's a college fair at CLC coming up on October 14th, and there's also a Choices Fair for students with learning disabilities on October 26th. Okay, we ask that you please follow our college. If you're going to follow any of these accounts on Twitter, we want you to follow our GCHS Future U, okay, Twitter account, where you're going to get all the information from our College and Career Center. Okay, Ms. Marquardt sends out a lot of great information via Schoology, on Twitter, okay, via School Messenger. Please do not hit the trash button when she sends you something. Okay, because more often than not, it's extremely important information with dates, deadlines, events to help your senior year. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Landry, who's going to talk about cum laude and all that wonderful information.
Good morning, 22s. How you guys doing? How are you guys doing on this wonderful Monday? Tired? Yeah, should have slept more last night. Who's got questions about the college application process? I have 2 kids in college right now. Some very important things that they said. Talk to your teacher before you send them an email to have them write you a letter of recommendation. Really important. Number 2, have somebody who is not your age, i.e. mom or dad, but since, like my kids don't think that I know anything, have your school counselor take a look at your application before you kids in college, my son, 35 ACT, really smart kid, had errors on his app, didn't get into his top school. We could have caught that. Okay? Don't be smarter than the system in place. Okay? Please have somebody take a look at it because we know. We read the book. We know how the rules work. All right? All right, so cum laude. When you guys were itty bitty freshmen, before we had to wear masks, Mrs. George is not into your freshman lunch study. And we had you guys copy the cum laude portfolio. All right? At some point, you should take a look at your cum laude portfolio. All right? More than half of the students in this school qualify for some level of cum laude. All right? The first qualification level is your GPA. That is one that, like, there's a lot of rank cum laude with GPA, it's a hard and fast. All right? If you have a 2.997, that is not a 3.0. But if you have a 3.01 or a 3.0, you qualify. All right? And the levels are basically the levels of distinction for each level, for each of the cum laude. There's cum laude, which is the I'll call it the lowest level that we can honor. And you have to have a 3.0. You have to do public service in the community. You have to have, you've already shown that you have good grades. You have to show good citizenship and you got to be here. All right? Yeah, cum laude is in between. That's where.
Sorry.
That's good. 3.7 to 42499. All right? And then the highest is summa. Okay? In Magna, you have to take more capstone classes, more AP classes or more, PLCW classes or more, dual credit classes, including courses that are held at CLC if you're in tech campus. Summa, more so than even that. You have to have 5. So it's 1 cum, 3 magna, 5 summa. All right? Part of it is volunteer hours. I don't know if you guys have noticed, it's harder to get volunteer hours during this land of COVID. All right? So historically, we've had 50 hours to meet as a minimum. What we've done is we've cut it to 25. Okay? I know that there are still places that take volunteer students because I went with my freshman. On Sunday morning, and she got some hours. So they are out there. You just have to look. One of the questions that comes up regularly is, well, I have to do hours for student council, or I have to do hours for PSP, or I have to do hours for the NHS, or for environmental club. I'll say, good. Put those on your cum laude application. It's not a separate number. I do not need you guys to work yourselves to the bone in order to get this on. I just want to know that you guys are out there in the community putting our best face forward as great example. And volunteers in our community is a huge, huge opportunity to do that. All right? Are there questions so far? Pretty straightforward, right?
I think you covered that.
Say again?
I think you covered that.
I think I covered a lot of it. Yeah, the dates. Okay. At any time, you can use your school email and email me, and I will respond individually. If I get a lot of the same questions, I'll probably shoot out a broadcast, whether it's via Schoology or via your email, just to give you guys a heads up on what's going on. All right, does that part make sense? Okay. We do cum laude whether you've been involved in activities while you're here, whether you've had any run-ins in the dean's office. So I have more work, and I'm happy to do it. Okay? Any questions on cum laude? Anything I missed?
Nope.
No? All right. All right, now I'm going to preach. How many of you guys are looking at the COVID dashboard of Grace Lake Central High School? I am. All right. We have 25 kids quarantined right now. How many of you guys really like learning on Zoom? Raise your hand. All right. That is the small minority. Please wear your masks over your nose and your mouth unless you are actively eating in an approved area. Okay? Walking down the hallway eating and drinking? No. Don't do that. Get to one of the seating areas where there are garbages and sit there. Or really, for your cafeteria, that is way more regular. All right? If you are sick, stay home sick. Don't take the chance. Right? Because I will just say selfishly, I do not like school on Zoom. School is weird when it's just 6 people here. So please, please, all right? Any questions?
Dan, we have a couple more things that we want to add real quick before they.
I'm out.
All right.
There are no questions, we're good. If you have questions, shoot me an email, okay? Thanks, guys.
Okay, 2 more things. Okay, number 1, you should have all gotten an email from Ms. Piggott with some surveys. You need to make sure that you're completing these surveys today. Okay, they shouldn't take all that long, but it is important information that we need to gather. So please make sure you're checking your email. Okay, I believe they came from Ms. Piggott or from Ms. Oldenburg, one of the two. All right, please make sure you complete that. Second, you need to make sure that that QR code was filled out so that you get credit for being here from an attendance standpoint today. And lastly, okay, you will be getting a lot of Schoology messages from the counseling department this week. Okay, we're going to be asking you to sign up for your senior appointment with your counselor. We're going to be sending out the information for our college and career readiness workshops in the mornings and in the afternoons to get help with your essays or applications. If you don't ever check your Schoology, you're going to miss out on a lot of help that you can be getting. Okay, so please make sure that you're checking that regularly, you're checking your email regularly, and that you're taking advantage of that help that we're here to offer. Okay, if you don't sign up for a senior appointment with your counselor, okay, and the application deadlines go by, there's not a whole lot that we can do. We're here to help. All right? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, as you leave, okay?
No, Mr. K, I think honestly there's only 15 minutes. I think we're just going to stay put.
Okay.
So we're going to pass out the packets to you so you have time to do those surveys. We'll get you the packet and we'll just stay here because there's only 15 minutes, okay?
Perfect.